Hey guys, hi Manish. Manish, my namesake is here. Shoot your questions. You guys can write long questions. That's okay. I can read and reply. Because this will allow you to send one message in every 15 seconds. So just type in your question, take your time, type in your question. I'll read and try and respond. I see a few more people joining. Thank you for joining. You guys can hear me clearly, right? I have an experience of 1 year, 2 NOC codes, having Alberta offer letter. Am I eligible to get tech PNP nominations? Have tech offer letter. Okay. So Manish, it's very clear. Tech pathway, you need to have the NOCs in the list. Okay. So go through the tech pathway NOC list. If it's there, you are eligible. You said you already have an Alberta job offer, so that should be fine. Provided you have the basics like an express entry profile with a minimum score of 300. Ahmed, if I got a job offer from a company in Alberta, can I apply for AIP? Do I need LMIA? Uh, LMIA depends on your employer. Okay, there are many employees who don't need LMIA. For example, I didn't need an LMIA because my job offer was based on an intercompany transfer. My company transferred me from US to here, so I never needed an LMIA. So it all depends on your employer. It's not for you to decide, Ahmed. It's for the it's for the employer to decide. I hope I answered your question. So, do I need a LMIA? Yes or no, depending on your employer. For example, if your employer is transferring you from a from a company abroad to Canada, you don't need a LMIA. So it all depends on your case. You will get a job offer in any case, but does it still help? It's not needed. Like if under an intercompany transfer, if you apply for LMIA, you will not get a LMIA. The government rules doesn't need LMIA. Kozema Rampurwala. If I have job offer and company is not listed in the NAIC, I think you mean NAICS, right? Yes, NAICS should be there. That is also one of the conditions. Your company should have that NAICS. But let me tell you something. Most company operate under multiple NAICS. Right? NAICS is not a license kind of a thing. It's an identification that company gives to itself. Right? It's a North American industry classification system. So check with your company. It's possible that some of like your company might operate under a couple of NAICS. But yes, if you find out that NAICS is not listed, it's bad luck, I would say. Any other questions, guys? Emma. Emma says, I got a job offer for the position of project engineer, but my NOC is civil engineer and there isn't a NOC for project engineer. Does it still qualify? There is no NOC for a project engineer. What do you mean? Like, see, you will have to fit your work that you are doing to one of the NOCs. Okay, so just go through the NOC list and try and find which NOC is suits you. It will not be an exact match anytime, anyways. Okay, so you will have to go through the list slowly, go through a list very slowly, see what you are doing in your job, and then try and do a match. Don't match by title. Cosima says, then the employee should apply for LMIA? No. LMIA is always applied by employer. It's never employed by, it's never applied by employee. So there are forms for LMIA that an employer should fill and send it to Ircc along with your work permit. Is there any other ways for the LMIs? There are many cases, Ahmed. I am aware of one case of intercompany transfer. Right, there are various agreements under which LMIA is not required. So it's all depends on LMIA exemption. There are, I'll just try and see, but I think LMIA exemption. It will all depends on your nature of job. Mostly closed work permits kind of things could could be without an LMIA. Hey Divindu, thank you, sir. Thank you. See, there are many things, right? Like for example, significant benefit employees, any kind of technical or creative workers can get a LMIA exempt. Reciprocal employment is one category under which LMIA might be exempt. Intercompany transferee, as I told you, those are exempt. French speaking skilled workers, they might be exempt. Any employment under a free trade agreement or an international trade agreement. So there are a lot of categories under which LMIA is not required, right? Even if LMIA is required, LMIA is just a government document. It's not a very complicated document. How much is the number? Hey, this is not for it's not a real estate discussion, sir. Devendu, you have my number. You have my number. I am me. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I thought you were happy in Edmonton. How long the accelerated tech pathway nomination take? Ahmed, uh, uh, the accelerated tech pathway is now just a year old. Okay, it was launched in January last year. I have seen it to be as fast as 1 week in this 1 year to couple of months. So it all varies depending on volume of applications. So for some people, I've heard it takes 1 week. For some people, 4 days. For some people, 2 months. It's all depends on when you apply and what. Devindu Chatterjee, after AOR, how much time it takes for PR? Official data is 6 months. So the government mandate is 6 months after AOR. But most people get it much before it. But there are some people who get after 6 months also. So you cannot hold anyone to 6 months, but on an average, it's 6 months. So Emma, did I answer your question? Emma, then once I get, it's an additional 600 points. Yes. After your nomination is processed, you get 600 points. So Alberta will take your documentations, take $500, check all the documents, and then once they are satisfied, they will give you a nomination certificate, and along with it 600 points. So you just go to your express entry profile and you accept that nomination. Manish Gaglia, I have two NOC scores, 10 months in analyst, 2 months in lead. Now while creating express entry profile, which NOC should I? See, there is nothing like a primary and a secondary NOC code, Manish. NOC code is, there are two NOC code. You need to put NOCs as your current job offer NOC, in which NOC you are currently working, and in which you have your job offer. Okay, and then all other NOCs of your past can be entered as experience. So when you are creating your express entry profile, for your past experience, you can put your old NOCs, and current NOC is what you enter as your current NOC. So I think by primary you mean current. So primary is that your current job offers NOC. Some are suggesting as active NOC code and some latest one. Yes, latest. Active is latest, right? If you are working on a particular job, that is your NOC. That is your active, that is your current, whatever you call it. And final question, would the PR then be guaranteed? Somebody called me in the morning today and asked me this very specific question, is it guaranteed? Nothing is guaranteed. But your chances your chances are very high. If you get your nomination, what happens next is, after you accept your nomination, you have to submit all your documents via your express entry profile to IRCC. Till now, you are dealing only with AAIP, right? Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. After that, you submit all your documents through IRCC. So what happens is, IRCC will check your documents, and if everything finds okay, they will give you a PR. But there is nothing like guarantee. I would say like there is no guarantee. The only thing is that, because even after your nomination is done, your education is done, it still depends on things like your police verification, your medical checkup. There are many things on which it depends, right? So which are not in your control. So yes, if those things are fine, then you can say it's a 99% guarantee. But then nobody says it's a guarantee. Nobody will tell you it's a guarantee. Say if your police verification takes time, then you will have to wait till that time, right? So it's like that. Or if something shows up in a medical report, you have to take a test again. So those kind of things can happen, man. So there is no guarantee. I will never say it's a guarantee. After getting faith, after accepting the nomination, will they give you a letter of support for a work permit? That is, I have heard that if there is any such condition that you need that your IRCC requires a document, then AIP can issue that kind of a letter. But that is only if IRCC needs it. Like if you need a letter of support for, say, for example, if you're applying for a work permit, that's what you're asking. If you're applying to IRCC for a work permit is a different department from PR processing, right? It's the same organization, but it's different departments there. So for processing your work permit, they might need a letter of support, and they will ask you that. In that case, you can apply to AIP to get a letter of support. And if you have already accepted a nomination, so there are high chances they will give you that letter of support. Any other question, guys? When should we apply for BOWP? When should is basically the Bindu, the more appropriate answer is when could you apply for BOWP? BOWP is a Bridge Open Work Permit is a very specific document. You can only apply for Bridge Open Work Permit after you have gotten your AOR. What could cause the IRCC to reject the PR application? As I said, if your medical reports are not up to the standards, they can reject it. If there is anything on your police verification, they can reject it. So there are many things on which, even after doing everything right, even after your job offer, everything, those things can still impact your PR application. My WP is expiring on April 23. I got AOR on 19 December 22. My daughter's is recorded as April 23. You can apply now. April 23 is less than 4 months. Oh yeah, go ahead. Apply now. Now. Today. Because you will, for sure, you will not get a work permit approved by April, but you can still continue. If you don't get your PR till that time, I'm sure you will get your PR. Marie, what is the case for those who applied on open work permit? What is the case for those who applied on open work permit means? If even if you are on open work permit and working on open work permit, you can still apply. There is nothing difference between open and closed work permit. It's open work permit is an advantage that you have. It doesn't help or it doesn't impact your PR application. When a person gets nominated, will have to wait for an express entry draw before he can send. Yes. So after you get nominated, you will get 600 points, and then depending on which day you get nominated, next draw, you will have to wait for the next draw to get nomination. For example, the last draw was sometime in November 23rd, right? If anybody would have got nomination after 23rd of November, if anybody would have got nomination after 23rd of November, they wouldn't have still got ITA till now because there is no draw till now. So yes, you will have to wait for the express entry draw. Faith, your answer to your question is yes. When do draw usually happen? It happens every 2 weeks. So it happens twice every month, at least, on a Wednesday. Will AAIP extend the nomination if a nomination is for you? It doesn't expire. If you have already accepted it, till your express entry profile is active, your nomination will be active. But for example, if you accepted your nomination, you got 600 points, and for 1 year there is no draw, right? Then your express entry profile will expire. So in that case, it will expire. But if you have already submitted your documents, you got your AR. Now, God forbid, if IRCC take 2 years to complete your PR application, you are still safe. Do we need to have a 1 year experience in the same NOC code to be eligible for Tech PNP? I have to NOC code experience in 1 year. You need to have at least 1 year, means like it should be your current job. If you're saying it should be 1 year for CEC for your Canadian experience class, yes, but otherwise it's not required. If you want some extra points for your Canadian experience, then you need to have your experience in the same NOC. Basically, the requirement is your NOC of your current job and your future job should be same. So when you submit a job offer is for future date, right? It basically says that this is an offer that Manish can come and work with us. So that NOC and your current NOC should match. So the accelerated tech pathway mainly depends on job offer you get, and NOC should be the same. Yes, NOC should be same as your current job offer, your job offer, and your company's NAICS code. Your company should also be eligible to participate. So if you have a job offer from I'm just taking a very weird example, absurd example, say from a fashion boutique here in Alberta, right? It might not work because that company might not have a North American ICS code. So Tech Pathway has a list of NOCs and a list of type of companies. NAICS is basically type of companies. So you need to check two lists. I have a video on that, Ahmed, so you can check that. Do we also need to provide a proof of work solution? Oh, yes. So once you submit so first stage is you fill up the Tech Pathway application, which is called the EOI. Then after that, you get something called the NOI. When you respond to that NOI, you will have to give all your documents, your education, your work experience, everything. Ahmed is asking, so the company needs to be on that list. Yes, but note that that's not a list of companies. It's a list of NAICS code. Each company operates under a NAICS code. So under one code, there could be thousands of companies. So what matters is the code. It's not a company name there. If you look at that list, right, it's not a list. It's not. I'll just show you. It's not a list of companies. Yeah. So it's something like this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's not a very big list. It's a very small list, and it's basically it says a type of companies. What type of companies can work? So, for example, I was working in 5112, I think. Yeah. So software publisher, right? So 5112 is software publisher. So that's it. If your company is under one of these NAICS, you should be fine. Quick question: once we submit PR, does the whole work verification process happens again like it happened for the tech mother? Okay. See, this is up to IRCC. If they want to verify, they can verify. So this now moves to this after you submit your application, after you get your AR, it moves to IRCC, right? It's with IRCC, and IRCC can do a verification. They have many other ways of verification. It's federal government. They might not call or verify, or they might just send an email or verify. It depends on them. They cannot, but yeah, I would not say it will not happen. It can happen. Let's say that way. So your question should be the work verification process can happen again. Not will, not could, not should. It can. It might not happen also. And there's a very high chance of that. Emma, so technically my job offer as a project engineer would qualify as a 54413 code. 5413? You mean architecture, engineering, and this is your company's NAICS code? Yes, if your company is operating under this NAICS, yeah, why not? And the best part is this is all self-declaration. Company doesn't need to put a document. Someone from our group had multiple NOCs code and applied the NOCs code which applies for technology didn't have one expensive received saying that it is no. See, in that NOC code you should have 1 year experience, but it's not that before, like, even say for example you are working in a new NOC code for 2 months, right? You joined a job for 2 months. That will not work, right? So in that NOC, you should have at least 1 year of your experience. So experience is past, right? So your history should be at least for 1 year. You can change your NOC anytime, right? Like when I started working, I was working in a different NOC. As time goes on, your NOC might change depending on what kind of work you are doing. But in your current NOC, you should have 1 year. Yes, that's true. But it's not that you need 1 year before application. Before application, you can have even 2 years of experience, 4 years of experience. Doesn't matter. Faith, responding to the NOI with all documents still doesn't guarantee your ITA, right? No, responding to your NOI doesn't guarantee your nomination, right? ITA is after nomination. So once you respond to your NOI with the fees and documents, if there is any problem in your application, obviously you will not get nomination. But if everything is okay, you will get nomination. After you get your nomination, you will get your ITA. You would still need to wait for an express entry draw. Yes. After ITA, ITA is given by express entry, IRCC. Okay. So responding to your NOIA doesn't guarantee your ITA, correct. If you responded to your NOI and for some reason you didn't follow up or they had some questions you didn't respond it too well, if you didn't get your nomination, you will not get your ITA. How would I know if the company is operating under it or prove it? You don't need to prove it. It's not a legal document. NAICS, just Google. I would say first Google your company name and NAICS, right? Just check what's on your company's code. If possible, talk to your company HR. They will know they operate under which NAICS. NAICS has multiple benefits. It's a North American coding system. It's not for immigration only, right? It has multiple. It's an industry classification used for many things. So that is how you will know, Ahmed. Google, download. After PR, how much time we have to spend in Alberta before moving back to Ontario? If you want to go back to Ontario, that is right. So there is no official time, but when you applied for your nomination, you would have given a declaration that you will stay in Alberta. If you don't stay in Alberta, they have the right to revoke your PR, or they can ask you that question. So there is no such. If you have a valid reason of moving, I don't know, it might work also. But I normally suggest get your citizenship and then move. Then you don't have any such restriction. Why you don't like Edmonton, Divindu? Okay. But when I see the form, it doesn't ask for NAICS, only NOC. Which you mean the tech pathway form? Tech pathway form does ask for NAICS. Yes, I'm 100% sure. See this. On step number 5, it will ask you of your NAICS code. Can you see this? On step number 5, it will ask you for the NAICS code here. So they will ask for it. In one step before, step 4, they will ask for the company name, and then they will ask for the NAICS code. So Ahmed, yes, you will need, they will ask for NAICS code, NOC and NAICS. I work permit extension offer letter from tech company. This letter contains 2016 NOC code with 2 years validity till August 24. Yeah, you can. If your company is not giving you any separate offer letter, you have only this document to work with, Manish. So can I use is not a very good question here. You have to use it, right? If I say you cannot use this use this offer letter, what will you do? Can you get another letter? If yes, get that other letter. Because normally work permit letters can be accepted, but it's not a very good thing. If you don't have any choice, what can a person do? But if you have a choice, get a proper offer letter and then apply. But again, if you cannot, I think this question is moot. Okay, guys, I think it's almost 35. How long does it typically take between you fill the form and they go back to you? Oh, they can get back to you within the same day. Like, get back to you means approval. They will, it's a consultative process. So if they have more questions, they will send you an email, you will respond to that questions and things like that. So if your documents are right, they might not get back to you. Maybe just after a few weeks, you will get nomination. So it all depends on what's the quality of your documentation and everything. They can ask you within few days that, hey, I need some more documents. So first responses could be very quick. What would be the difference between normal Alberta nomination versus accelerated tech pathway? Normal Alberta nomination is Alberta will pick up your profile from Express Entry. You cannot apply. Tech pathway, if your NOC and NAICS match, if you have a job offer, you can apply on your own. So what happens is they will kind of go out of the line and pick up your file. Otherwise, your file will keep waiting in the Express Entry. If your NOC is in demand in Alberta, they will pick up that file and send you a nomination. So that's the difference. Guys, I have to end this. I think this was a good session. There was a lot more questions in this session. Not many people were able to join, but still, those who joined, thank you. I will do one more of these sessions shortly. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.